Rated M for mature.
The thing I'm proudest of in the design of Reckoning as a whole, there's a lot of things the team has done just an amazing job with, from the moment-to-moment combat to the actual architecture and geography of the world. But I'm a real sucker for the Destiny system.
The Destiny system came from a rejection of a very common convention in RPGs. We pick our class at the beginning of the game.
You kind of start out and you choose from the get-go whether you want to be the warrior or the mage.
You have to make these huge decisions up front before you know what you're doing. Like, oh, I want to invest in strength, or do you?
You're basing that decision on information you don't have. You're not sure how a rogue is going to play. Even if you're a seasoned RPG veteran, you're not sure how this class is going to play through the long play of the game. And so we wanted to sort of revisit that.
Something we'd seen in some Eastern RPGs were the idea of a job system or title system where you get a title for having done certain things in the game.
I've always been a huge fan of title systems. I like giving my character a title, and it's usually pretty meaningless. Sometimes it comes with a couple stats.
We thought that was cool, but most of the examples that we looked at, they didn't do anything. It was purely just a title.
That was the original inspiration, and then it kind of became more and more and more to the point that it kind of replaced the class system.
Amalur, up until you are reborn in that pile of bodies, has been a deterministic world. It's been a world governed by fate. And you as a player break this whole thing down. And everywhere you go, everybody you interact with, they're all influenced by this suddenly not being deterministic anymore.
These are strange times. Magic weaves itself in new patterns and change.
You pick abilities from 3 different ability trees: might, finesse, and sorcery. And based on the distribution of your abilities in those trees, we unlock for you new destinies that you can apply to yourself. And those destinies are effectively a class. They come with buffs, they come with special abilities.
You kind of start out your blank slate. As you advance, you make decisions that are going to kind of cast you toward a mage, or cast you toward a rogue, or even a hybrid.
There are 40 different destinies, starting with the Fateless one, and then of the ones you get after the Fateless one, they're divided up into 7 different types. And those basically come down to, if I focus on one of the ability trees, like Might, I'm saying, okay, put every single point in that, I want to be a fighter. I want to be the best fighter I can be. Well, early in the game, you unlock a destiny called Brawler that gives you some basic benefits to that style of play. If you keep on dumping points into Might and nothing else, then by the end of the game, you've unlocked higher and higher tiers of that sort of pure Might play style. Each of those is in and of itself a different destiny, but they're different ranks of the same style or type of destiny. However, if I start throwing points at other trees, like if I mix Might and Sorcery, I'm going to unlock hybrid destinies. So I'll get like a Might Sorcery Battle Mage, for instance. And those have different ranks. And different ranks sometimes just increase statistically, but every couple of ranks, generally speaking, they do something new.
I think one of the best examples of that is Blink, right? If you mix any, if you have any destiny that has Mage in it, any sorcery destiny, you get Blink, which is a replacement for your standard roll.
This Blink is like the warrior's dodge, but instead of moving across the terrain, your character actually teleports. You can use this teleport to do all sorts of cool things, like teleport through guys.
But as you level that destiny up, you get, there's a poison blink, and there's like an ice blink. It slows enemies down when you teleport through them.
The Warlord, the high tier destiny you get for focusing on that Might line, he gets an ability called Last Stand, so that when you die, you can immediately get back up from the dead, wipe the blood from your face and get back into the fight. And as long as you kill the enemy that took you down within a certain window of time, you get your full life back and can keep on trucking.
In Reckoning, you have the Jack of all trades destiny. And this destiny you get for evenly distributing your points in all the trees. Now, you don't get the top tier abilities in those trees, but you unlock all of the weapon masteries. And so if you're the player that really likes to play with all of the different weapons and switch them out all the time, this is the destiny for you. It also dramatically reduces your equip requirements. So if you're the guy that likes to run to the very end of the map as far as you can and get some loot, you can equip that, whereas if you didn't have that destiny, you couldn't.
When it comes to favorite destiny, I'm torn. With the Might/Sorcery destinies, that entire type of destinies, as a whole, those are my favorites, but if I was going to pick just one destiny, it would actually be the top tier Sorcery Finesse hybrid called Shadowcaster. It just gets a really sweet set of abilities.
The Shadowcaster destiny actually has a bonus on it that allows you to steal mana when you crit. It combines what the rogue does, which is crit a lot, with what a mage does, which is cast spells and be something of a glass cannon.
So there are a lot of things like that in the Destiny system that kind of change your moment to moment instead of just bumping your stats.
Twists of Fate are something of addendum to the Destiny system. They are the modifiers that result from making decisions in the world.
We wanted a way to let the player know that he or she is changing the world in a permanent way through their actions.
There are rewards you get for completing quests or doing different things in the game.
You make a irrevocable decision that's changing the future in some way, something that normal people couldn't have done, that only you can because you're the Fateless One. We give you a card, which is presented a lot like a Destiny card, called the Twist of Fate. And those things tell you, you've changed the history of the world in such and such a way, and because of that, you get a permanent boost to your stats that's appropriate to whatever that decision was.
Oftentimes they come in a couple flavors, and so it's a way that we reward the player differently for the choices that they made.
I choose to help these people or I don't choose to help these people.
I made this faction's future change this way or that way, not both. So both the bonuses and the twists themselves are exclusive in that case.
A seat in the House of Ballads cannot remain empty, lest the great stories end.
We want you to be able to play the game that you want to play.
I'm hoping players come to Reckoning and experience the nostalgia factor, the thing that first hooked them on games.
I think this game is one that could really do that.
I want players to feel like they got to experience a world they've never seen before and that they want more. I want them to leave and go, well, what else is happening in Amalur? Because, you know, we're doing more in that world. We want them to see that.
There's so much depth and there's so much personality and character that there are endless possibilities for products.
I want them to be excited about what happens 5 years later, 20 years later, 2,000 years later. So I'm excited to get them into the world and just kind of experiencing everything that we've built.